Hey guys, so today we're reviewing the Wilson Combat EDC X9S, now known as SFX9. SF stands for solid frame. So most Wilson Combats, and really I think all 1911s, usually have grips on the side where you can change. With this one, the grip is now solid and is part of the frame. So I believe this is why they're calling it the SF for solid frame, because it's solid. It's part of the frame. You can't change this. I may refer to it as probably the X9S because that's what mine is. It just came in yesterday in the mail. I picked it up from my FFL. So I wanted to do a review on this gun, but I took it out shooting yesterday. And while I was shooting it, I was carrying my Canik TP9 SC. And that's this right here. While I was carrying it, I was like, you know what? They're both 9mm. Let me shoot a couple rounds off of it. And you're going to be shocked that this $450 gun shot as well as this $3,000 pistol. So instead of making a gun review specifically on the Wilson X9S, I decided I'm going to kind of compare them both. So see it as a review slash a comparing to the Canik. I know they're like two totally different guns, but at the end of the day, they both do the same thing, and that is carry a pistol for self-defense, or even maybe duty use. I don't know. We'll talk about that. So let me really quickly go over the specs on the Wilson Combat, and we're going to go through how I feel about the pistol. So I wrote my notes here because I can't remember everything. This pistol from Wilson Combat is $27.95, so it's almost $3,000. Now, let me throw in there that if you order this directly from Wilson Combat, which is what I did, if you're law enforcement or military, they give you a 20% discount. So I got this pistol with a 20% discount, which was a pretty good deal. Also, I ended up getting the ambi safety because I'm a lefty, so I kind of need that. And also, I got I believe they call it the Combat Tough, which is this very cool, different looking finish on the pistol. It's kind of like a beaten style. You know, it looks like the gun's wearing off its black coating and it's showing the steel under, which, you know, that's not really the case. It's because it's aluminum, but I think it looks cool. It was worth it for something different that I paid so much money for. But you're going to be paying $2,800 for this gun, minimum. Comes out to close to $3,000 after you get like an ambi safety and this and that. Now, let me also mention, and I'm a little upset about this, but it is what it is. The new series, the SFX9, comes with a medium trigger. This is a short trigger. I have pretty large hands. So when I carry this pistol, if I want to shoot it, I wrap around so much that my finger's pretty much on the second digit, the second portion of my finger. So I have to remember not to kind of wrap around. I have to be on the outside. If it was a medium, it would have helped. The new ones are medium. The old styles are only short. So that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Also, the new ones have the 3 holes in it, which I'm not a big fan of. I kind of like this more, but yeah. So it is a 9mm, only comes in 9. Sorry, 45 guys, you're stuck with the 9mm. We'll talk about that in a little bit, how I feel about 945. So I'm not even going to get into that right now. Otherwise, I'll be repeating myself. Capacity is 10 rounds. You get a flush fit 9mm 10-round mag. It is completely flush. For someone with XL size hands, it's what I wear for gloves, XL, your pinky is left out. I can't really, no matter how hard I try, I can't really get my pinky in there. So, but they do have a pinky extension, which I have. I just don't have that mag with me here. It's still a 10 round, but there's a little lip on the front. It's just enough to get your pinky on there. So I highly recommend you get that if you have large or XL size hands, maybe even a medium. It does come with a 15-round mag. When you insert it, you do get a full grip on the gun. They do leave this empty, which I like, because when you carry this pistol, a lot of the time it's not the barrel that shows, or it's not the grip, it's the edge. So this kind of just cuts it off a little bit. The TP9 does the same thing. I'll go over that in a little bit. But you get a 15 round and a 10 rounder. They are made in Italy, Metcar mags. So Metcar is a great brand. They make very good magazines. So barrel length is 3.25. It's 3.25. It's your usual subcompact size barrel. It's enough to propel the 9mm, I think, for self-defense purposes at reasonable, 25 yards. I'm okay with that. That's what you're going to get with a subcompact pistol. Overall length is 6.75. Sight radius is 5 inches. Height is 4.5 inches. And width is 1.25. Weight empty is 25.2 ounces. Loaded is 29.7 ounces. So now I'm going to bring out the Canik here. Here's where the comparison starts. This gun is $440. Okay? Pretty good deal. I would say this is probably one of my top 9mm pistols. It might have something to do with the fact that I have a red dot on it, but aiming this thing is a breeze, especially at like 25 yards. It's just so easy to shoot. Great trigger too. 12 rounds versus 10. Let's compare the mags. If you look, they're pretty much the same size. If you look from bottom to bottom, it is a little bit longer. That's how they get to 2 rounds. But it has a very flat base pad where the X9s is a little thick. But you're 10, you're 12. Practically same size mags. I think the TP9 wins because of its very flat base pad. So, yeah, 10 and 12. So that's win 1. Actually, win 2 because of the price, but we'll talk about the price. There's a reason why you're paying $3 grand for a Wilson Combat. Barrel length, 3.25 on the Wilson Combat, 3.6 on the Canik. Now, I believe the reason for that is because the Wilson Combat has to end a little bit earlier because of its hammer and the beaver tail. But if you put the TP9, the barrel extends a little bit further out. I think it just gives a little bit more for the internals of the firearm in the slide. It gives it a little bit more room up ahead. So when you compare these guns from end to end, now remember, the pistol ends here. Oh, too low. The pistol ends here on the Wilson Combat, right? Here, the pistol ends here. So there's a lot more going on. But if you compare them end to end, beaver tail to end of slide, they're practically the same size pistols. Same size. So when you're carrying this gun, granted this is a smaller slide, when you put it in your holster, I mean, this is what's going to print. It's the end. It doesn't matter what's here. This is the end of it will print, right? Same thing with this. So when you have them end to end, they're practically the same size pistols. But you get a little bit more slide velocity out of this, about 1/2 inch, which does make a difference. All right, the height, practically the same, 4.5 to 4.6. Wilson Combat's 4.5. Canik is 4.6. I'd say it's about right. I mean, I can't tell the 1/10 of an inch, but now the width is a little bit different. Width on the Wilson Combat is 1.25. It's 1.45 on the Canik. Caniks are known to be pretty wide, wider compared to Glocks even. So I will say that it is a narrower gun compared to the other one. All right. Wilson Combat gives it an accuracy guarantee 1.5 inches at 25 yards. Man, I tried. I couldn't do it. Maybe it's because it needs to be on a bench rest. I'm not that good of a shot where I can get 1.5 inches at 25 yards with a small pistol like that. Even with a larger pistol, with my Nighthawk 5-inch full-size 1911, best I could do is probably 4 inches offhand on a pistol. So on a bench rest, maybe. So the Wilson Combat has something what they call is enhanced frame rails. So on a 1911, you have full-size frame rails usually, right? With this pistol, it's portioned off, kind of like a Glock or most of your other polymer pistols. It's section 1 and section 2. Less friction area means less likely that you're going to end up with some kind of a malfunction due to more friction with slide the frame. The less area there is that they're contacting, the less likely that it's going to jam up on that friction. Not only that, but it can allow it to push the carbon or the dirt off into the empty area. So they're constantly talk about their X-Tack front strap and back strap treatment. I'll just kind of go over that once here. So most pistols, right, they got the serrations, right? That's what they have. Another Glock here, same concept, right? Lines, lines, lines. So with the Wilson Combat, with this specific line, they have something called the X-Tack, which is these X patterns. They have it on the back strap, on the front strap, on the sides. I feel like it gives a good purchase. It's nothing like your, typical 1911 lines per inch, the serrations, the lines. Those grip really good. This does a good job for a firearm that doesn't, kick like a mule. So I like it. It's nice on when you carry as well. It's also easier to clean. If you've ever shot a 1911 for a while, you'll see that those serrations, like, all the little dots that you have, they get gunked up with dirt, your nasty hands, your skin. The sweat can cause it to rust, and you got to get a brush and you got to brush them out. It's kind of a pain. With this, it doesn't do that. So it's just enough, I think, for this. A lot of people don't like it. I don't mind it at all. It does the trick for me, so I'm happy with it. They have a bunch of other stuff on here. If I read all of this and go through it, this video is going to be like an hour long. So I'll quickly go over what else is on here. They have a black DLC finish on the slide, which is diamond-like coating. I've opted for something else. I believe this is also DLC, finished off with maybe something like Cerakote. Fiber optic green tritium, correction, not tritium. Fiber optic green. It is not tritium. I don't even think you can actually get it with night sights. I don't know. Let's see. It has a flush cut reverse crown. I think they look really good on the edge of the barrel. Fluted barrel. Chamber is also fluted. So is the barrel. I think it looks good, but most importantly, it shaves some weight off the pistol. There is 30 lines per inch serrations up top. You can kind of see it here. So these allow you that when you're aiming down outside, that there is no reflection going off the top. The lines kind of make the reflection of the light angle off in different directions, which doesn't come right back at you, and it does happen. And they talk about carry cuts, which is pretty much dehoning the edges. So that's it. All right. So now let me go over some of the other stuff that I've written on this pistol. Disclaimer, it's a lot. I couldn't even fit it on a piece of paper. I had to shrink the font size. Anyways, let's talk about it. So philosophy of use. This pistol is for concealed carry. It is not a competition pistol. You can compete with it. You could do IDPA, which is really carrying a firearm for defensive purposes. It's the competition. I don't do competition stuff, so I don't really know. But I know that this would work well for IDPA. Maybe not for IPSC, although you can. I just consider this a carry gun. This is designed to carry. It's light, 9mm, good for self-defense, 10 rounds. It's fairly light compared to a Glock, all those other pistols. It's not like a full-size 1911. I'm in Florida. I wear shorts and t-shirts a lot. So for my purposes, a 1911 is a pretty big gun to carry, even like a full-size. This is great. It's 3¼ inch barrel, small, light to carry, comparable to other carry pistols. Here's a Glock 27 compared with a 26, right? Great carry gun. Duty use. I would not carry this gun for duty. However, if I was a detective and I needed a small gun and they let me carry whatever I want, and I wanted a light small gun, I would probably carry something like this, but I won't do it. So for me, this is a concealed carry gun, especially in places like Florida. Size, weight, we spoke about it. It's a lot like your most other Sun compact pistols. So again, your Canik your Glock subcompact 26, and the also famous SIG P365. It is a little bit bigger than that. So, but same concept. God, this gun's so light. So, yeah. The smallest gun I carry for pocket carry is a P365. I do pocket carry this gun and it works. There's no way I could pocket carry a EDC X9S. It's too big. So if you pocket carry, it's probably not the gun for you. Firepower. 9mm, proven track record, right? I know there's a lot of arguments between 9mm and 45 and sometimes even 40. Really quick, 9mm is what we use in the military, right? The Beretta. It's done its job. It's killed a lot of people with a full metal jacket. I've seen it at work where a 9mm has taken life, so I know 9mm works. I also love 45. Just like most of you, I can't decide, so I can have both and I carry both depending on what my mood is. But 9mm is, I think, a good round for everyday carry, and you can fit 10 rounds in it. So yeah, I think they could have squeezed in 2 more rounds into this mag. Again, case in point with even the Glock. I don't have a Glock mag here, but you know, the Glock 26 mag, I believe it's 12 rounds if I'm right. But I truly feel that they could have fitted 2 more rounds like this Canik. 12 rounds versus 10. I don't have, let me walk away. There we go. This is the SIG P365. They could have fitted 10 rounds in this, right? Metal to metal. They could have fitted 2 more rounds in this because it is smaller. So that's my thought on it. Well, you get 15 rounds with the extended mag. So way I carry is I carry 10 on the pistol. This goes in my pocket. I got 25 rounds. That's a lot. When I carry a Commander or a CCO size 1911, I get 7. And I carry a 10 rounder with me. That's 17 rounds. So technically, I guess that's more, right? So no, it's not. I lied. That's 25. I'm really bad at math. Don't mind me. But 17 rounds or 25, it's a lot of ammo. So let's switch over to accuracy. So they guarantee 1.25 inches, I think I said. 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches at 25 yards. I can't do it, man. I tried. I couldn't do it. Best I could do, I'll show a picture right here. This is the best I could do. It was at 25 yards. It's about maybe the size of my hand, roughly. And I had one flyer. It went into the white, which doesn't count. So maybe on a bench rest, you could do 1.5 inches, but I can't do it. That is my capability for a pistol this size. So whether it's this or this or even this, really, I can't get more than like this chest size at 25 yards. But maybe, you know, more power to you. If you're a better shot than I am, then you probably could do a little bit better. But for me, offhand, at a non-moving paper target, it's no different than any other subcompact that I own. So it's a match-fitted barrel, hand-fitted firearm. I don't know how it's going to show offhand, but for me, I couldn't do it. So, but that's not a bad thing, right? If this is what I could do at 25 yards with a pistol I could put on my hip or, you know, carry on my appendix, that's pretty impressive. Ergonomics. Oh, man. So I love the way a 1911 feels. If you close your eyes, this is how I kind of check to see how a grip or a firearm fits me naturally. If you aim at something and you close your eyes and you open, if your sights are exactly what you pointed at without aiming, to me, that is a well-fitting firearm, at least the grip angle and how the firearm kind of points, right? You have to, I think to get good with a firearm, you have to be able to point it well. If kind of like a red dot, right? If you have a red dot and you aim at something, I'm aiming at my camera over there. If you aim at something and you don't see that red dot, you end up kind of doing this, right? To get that red dot in the picture. That firearm, you're either just going to have to practice a lot and get that muscle memory, or that firearm doesn't point well for you. 1911 style grips, they're just so naturally grip like point of aim for me. God, anytime I point a 1911, it is exactly where I pointed at. This works great if you're doing training where you're not really aiming before you shoot. So let's say you're doing something at 3 yards. You don't really even need to aim, but let's say 7 yards, right? Where you kind of have to aim, at least get that front sight on that target. Man, when you draw this gun at 7 yards or something, you pull, you point, and you pull that trigger, it is going exactly where you pointed. For me, could be different for you, but something like a Glock, it doesn't. I am so far off right now, you wouldn't even believe. So, but that's something to each their own. 1911 style grips just point and aim so well for me. Also, let me add that this doesn't have the grip safety, the beaver tail grip safety, like most 1911s. A lot of guys like that. A lot of guys don't. I hear both sides. Some people talk about how they'll grip the gun, and what if, you know, they grab it like this and they're trying to put their finger in here to pull the trigger because someone's fighting him. Man, I don't know. If I don't have a grip on that gun, I'm probably not going to be able to shoot it. I can't think of how I would grab the gun to get my finger in there and pull that trigger. I actually like the beaver tail. I see it as an extra safety feature that you just have to get a good purchase on a gun to be able to fire it off. But again, that's my opinion. This firearm doesn't have it, so I know for people who are not a fan of that, that works well. I like that feature, but I don't have to have that feature. So, manual of arms is just like a 1911, right? You got your safety, lefty for me. You got your slide release for you righty boys out there. All you got to do is, as you grab the gun, just use this thumb to ride that slide forward. For lefties, it's even easier. All you got to do is just put your index finger on there and off it goes. So it works well for me. Index finger, or I guess this is the ring finger? Middle finger. Ooh. You just push that button and off your mag goes. Righties, works well. Sights, they're good for self-defense. I love that tritium. It's one of my favorites. My duty gun has the True Glow tritium fiber optics. I think I called it a tritium again. I'm used to saying tritium. Fiber optic. It does not glow in the dark, but it will amplify the light and make it a very bright green dot no matter what. So, not tritium, fiber optic. It's not very, it's a little thick for like 25-yard accuracy shooting, as is most firearms are, especially something like this. I was shooting at an 8-inch target at 25 yards. It completely covers that target. I can't see it. So, but again, you know, for self-defense, you're not shooting an 8-inch little circle. You're shooting a silhouette. So it would do a great job for that. Funny enough, I shot a 8-inch target at 25 yards and I couldn't really hit it. This is embarrassing, especially, at least with this. I did a great job with the red dot. But I took out a target to 25 yards, the target that I showed earlier. I'll post it again here. At 25 yards, I was able to hit that silhouette. No problem like this, because I had a general idea of where I was aiming, right? But an 8-inch circle, I end up covering the whole thing with this little sight, and I can't see it, so I was doing a lot worse. It works well, just it's not designed for benchmarking. It's self-defense, right? Excellent trigger. Oh man, love 1911s. Let's just make sure we're gonna pull the trigger. So, this trigger, man, lefty, go like this, like this. Well, so the trigger on this thing, when you're aiming, you pull that trigger, there's an ever slight, just you reach a wall, right? You pull, very little bit of creep, tiny. My Nighthawk or the ACW doesn't have it, but I feel it. But you're not gonna feel that at freaking, you know, when you're pulling the trigger to shoot something, then it just breaks. Very noticeable, audible reset. Now there's no creep at all, and off that trigger goes. I weighed this trigger. It's 4.5 pounds. They say between 3.5 and 4.5. I guess I got the 4.5, so not that bad. Most of my other striker fired pistols are between 5.5 and 6.5. My ACW is 4.5. My Nighthawk is 3.2, and I shoot that thing the best. So maybe lighter trigger does make a difference. So yeah, I love it. I love a 1911 trigger. Very little bit of take up. You hit that wall. I feel that creep right now. And off it goes. Love it. Reset. Right there. Now there's no creep. You're pretty much right there. As soon as you pull, it just breaks. I love it. That's why I love these guns. All right. Just feels excellent in the hand. Let me also add that. Field strip and maintenance. Field strip on this pistol is a lot like a 1911, but it's easier because the recoil spring is semi-captured. It has 2 springs on there, kind of like your Glock 26, but one of them is captured, not the other one. However, when you installed it into the slide with the barrel, it doesn't kick out like a 1911. You guys would know, anyone who's handled a 1911 before, a traditional one with the half size, the smaller barrel guide rod, you kind of have to like cup your hand around it as you put the slide. It's hard. With this, it's like a Glock or any other striker fired pistol. You put the guide rod in there and it just stays. You put it into this firearm, into the frame. You kind of line up that, I don't know what it's called, it's the little barrel thing under the barrel for the 1911 specifically. You line it up, you put your slide release, it just goes right in. I would say it's, if a Glock is a 3, this is a 4 as far as how easy it is. As a matter of fact, I hate it on the Glocks because I don't have strong nails, so for me to grab this thing and push it down is a pain. It's a lot easier with this. So maybe for me, it's easier than a Glock. Maintenance. 300 rounds per cleaning. I think that's a little, I don't want to say excessive, but I don't think Glock or anybody else says clean your gun every 300 rounds. Wilson Combat recommends every 300 rounds that you field strip this firearm and you at least oil it. Not so much maybe clean. It says clean the outside of the barrel, I think, and it says lube up the frame to slide. 300 rounds. Again, this is not a duty gun. It's not a combat gun. Even though Wilson Combat, I would not say this is a combat firearm. This is an everyday carry gun. So I would think that, it'd be okay to clean it every 300 rounds. Every 6,000 rounds, I think they ask you to change the firing pin and also the extractor pin. So again, like other 1911s, this gun, it can run dirty. It just needs to be lubed. Where a Glock, man, you could run that thing bone dry for like 1,000 rounds and it'll just keep going and going because everything's so loose, right? For the Glock, look at that. You hear that? It's loose. With a hand-fitted 1911, there's nothing. When it's locked up, I'm talking about. Right now, the firearm is locked up, ready to shoot. The locking happens mostly here and here. Same thing with the Glock. It happens here. You can kind of see the wear point in here. So let's see. What else? I've shot 100 rounds, not a lot. I shot 80 rounds of Full Metal Jacket and about 20 rounds of Winchester 147 grain hollow point Ranger rounds. I had no issues with it. So, but overall, man, what you're paying for, I think, in this firearm is this just excellent fit and finish. Like, you're holding a well-built gun. And if you've handled guns, you know that this $440 firearm, this $600 and something Glock, this, I don't know, $500, $600 SIG, it does not feel like this $3,000 Wilson Combat. You can just tell this thing was just hand-fitted and loved on. But you really want to pay $3,000 for that. Accessories, there's not a lot. They have a lefty, ambidextrous safety. Comes with the rail or non-railed version. I got the railed. I don't plan on putting anything, but if I decide to, I have my rail. Some people don't like the rail and they get it without it. I figured, why not add the rail? If I don't use it, it's here. If I use it, it's here, right? You can't put a red dot on these, at least not that I'm aware of. So you're stuck with iron sights. Value. Oh, expensive. $3,000 is a lot of money for a firearm. A lot of money. And in the end, it does nothing different than this $650 Glock, even less if you buy it as a blue label, kind of like you get the 20% off with this, or this $440 Canik, which I just love. I love it. So you're paying a lot of money. This is how we'll compare it. A Ferrari 488 costs about $350,000. A Corvette C8 costs, I think, just short of $60,000. Granted, you could do a little bit better with the Ferrari if you know what you're doing. But God, man, you go to the track and they could be like neck and neck, especially if the guy in the Corvette really knows what he's doing. That's how I kind of compare it. This is like everyday man's carry gun. This is someone who appreciates a well-built firearm. And again, it's no different, man, than a Rolex. You don't need a Rolex to tell you what time it is. A G-Shock Citizen could do it. But there's something about a well-built Rolex that you just appreciate. Just how it's built is amazing. This is what it's like. When you carry this gun and when you own this gun, you own something very different, very cool, very high-end. And these don't really depreciate. 10 years later, this gun will probably cost the same unless I beat the shit out of it. So you're paying for the name. You're paying for Wilson Combat, that name. So yeah, there are a lot better options out there. Like I said, man, if you're, unless you have $3,000 you want to spend, or you want to just buy something nice to yourself, you need like a gun to defend yourself, don't buy Wilson Combat. Get this gun. It's going to serve you a lot better. This is a firearm where, like, I think you have a lot of firearms. You want something really nice, and that's when you get this. You just have a lot of money. Durability and reliability. Again and again, it's built very well. And this is hand fit at the factory by Wilson Combat. Someone actually uses a file to fit this slide to the frame, which is how you get this excellent fit. Same thing with the barrel. But time will tell as far as the durability and the reliability. I don't see myself beating the hell out of this firearm. I will carry it. It will go into my rotation of carry guns, but it's not going to get beat. So the finish, let me just talk about the finish. The finish is excellent. It's excellent. It's just, they did such a good job, and I don't really see it wearing any differently than any other Cerakote or DLC coating. So yeah. Track record. There's not a lot of these. This is serial number 998. So that probably tells me that they have less than 1,000 of these made, I'm assuming. So that tells me there's not a lot of them out there out of 1,000. I haven't seen any issues. I've read on the forums, some people had problems with it. They had to send it back. Then Wilson Combat had to do something and it came back. But as far as track record, I don't have a lot. But I have no doubt in my mind that this firearm will do its job for a long time. Wilson Combat does stand behind their name and their products. So I have also no issues that if I had a problem with this, I can get in touch with someone at Wilson Combat and they'll take care of me. So, but overall, this is an excellent firearm for someone who has firearms and carry guns and other things. They just want to add a very nice pistol to their collection to maybe sell, to keep. I don't usually sell my firearms, especially nice ones like these. I hold on to them forever. I think this is the gun to own. But if this is your first carry gun, you're looking for a really nice carry gun, unless you've got a lot of money, that's not the pistol I would go for. For people like that, this is what I would recommend. Buy a red dot, like a Holosun for $200. Put that on here. Practice, practice, practice. And this firearm is going to work great. So $440, $3,000. So at the end, the decision is yours. But my recommendation, let me tell you why I make recommendations. I watch these YouTube videos, right? YouTube a lot. Which gun should you choose? They do this YouTube review. And at the end, they're like, well, the decision is yours. I know the decision is mine. I made a YouTube video. Well, actually, I'm watching a YouTube video to see what advice you would give me. To tell me, well, the decision is yours. Well, that doesn't tell me anything. I know the decision is mine. I can't decide, which is why I'm watching your video, man. So my videos, if I make more of these, I'll always give you my thoughts on what you should buy. You already have a few pistols. You have some money laying around. You want to spend that stimulus money, tax return. Get this. First carry gun. You're not really into guns. You know, you just want to buy a nice gun. Get this. Absolutely. 100%. At that point, I can't really recommend the Glock because it's more money. It doesn't shoot any better. And I think both are very reliable guns. Glock doesn't have the best customer service. So let me also add that. You want something a little bit smaller? You could pocket carry sometimes. Probably the P365. But this video is about the Wilson Combat and the Canik, right? So let me say it again. You got a lot of guns. You got some money. You want to buy something really nice to carry. And you like 9. Got to be 9. Can't be 45. You don't have a lot of guns. You don't have a lot of money. You want to buy a gun? Get the Canik TP9 SC. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed my video. I thought it was going to be 10 minutes long. It is now 40 minutes long. So subscribe, like, all that good jazz. I'm going to try to make a couple more videos of these other guns I own. Give you my thoughts on what you should buy and not, well, the decision is yours. No, the decision is yours, but I'm telling you what you should do if you were me. So enjoyed, I hope, and have a good one.